Hey, what's up? This is aleckermit. This is a single-sitting playthrough of Petrie 911's Petrie's Challenge. It's a hack for Ocarina of Time, and I played it a while back, and I just picked it up again now that he released the official demo. And this is me playing through the game, like I said, in a single sitting on an N64. So I'm playing on the actual console using a flash card. So this is going to be a quick playthrough, walkthrough of the Forest Temple and his challenge, and I'm going to be discussing what I like and don't like about the hack. And yeah, this is a pretty routed out walkthrough. I did write out a complete route for this, so you're not going to see me getting completely stuck or lost at any point. I did, however, edit out a few moments where I wasted like 40 or more seconds just messing up something stupid, so I cut that out so you wouldn't have to watch the same thing over and over. So yeah, first room, pretty basic. You just blow up that boulder in front of the wall, in front of the door, and then kill the guys in the hallway, and then make your way to the right here. This route was completely made by me, so it might not be completely optimized, but as far as I know, this is the correct list of events you need to do. You don't have to worry too much about this hallway, even though there's two Stalfos and you can get a lot of damage pretty quickly. There's health just behind this door, so. Right here there's a fairy. There's a couple of these fairies in this dungeon, and you can respawn them over and over. So you're going to see a couple of bugs, glitches. One of them is where I jump up into the air randomly, and I believe this is something that Petrie just fixed. I let him know about it, and I think he just repaired it. It almost looks like I'm using the L to levitate code, but it just happens randomly, and sometimes it screws me up. So this room is the first real puzzle type room. You need to push this Armos statue all the way to that blue switch down there while the ceiling is falling on you. And there's redeads everywhere, so Petrie let me know that I could use Sun Song, because I didn't think to do that. But that makes this a lot easier. First time I played through this, I ran through and killed each one of them, and then I got squashed a couple times, and of course the redeads come back. And it was really infuriating, but Sun Song definitely makes this, I don't know, tolerable. By the way, if you want to play this for yourself, I will put a link in the description. I believe he's going to be updating the demo as well, like with little bug fixes and stuff. So yeah, a total of 3 Sun Song plays, for me at least. And I push the statue one push away from actually getting on top of the switch, and then if you trigger the ceiling to come down, then the Armo statue gets pushed onto the switch. So I like that. That way I'm not in a pushing animation and then having to run back to the back of the room. It's a little less risky. And this leads to our first key. And from here, I believe we are going back to the main room, and then there's a locked door on the other side of the room. Yeah. There's that random jump glitch. Sometimes it's a short hop, sometimes I go way up in the air. This doesn't happen on emulator as far as I know, only on console. But like I said, Petrie has fixed it as far as I know. Alright, this hallway, there's an invisible Stalfos. Just a pain. I also had a crash in this hallway in like my last playthrough. I threw a Deku Nut and the game just crashed for some reason. I think it was an uncommon crash, not something that's going to happen often. So a little bit of guesswork there, you can beat him. Deku Nuts are definitely a prized possession in this hack, at least in this dungeon. You kind of want to be careful not to overuse them, and you want to pick up more when you can. You can get them from the Wolfos pretty consistently, I guess. I think they're like 50-50. Whether they drop them or not. Alright, right here's a push block puzzle, and luckily I kind of had this memorized from way back when I played this when it was in its very early stages. Yeah, you get these blocks in just the right spot, and you can use them to jump to the next floor and stuff. But for now I'm going up the ladder. And I'm going to push this all the way to the end. On your first playthrough this is all trial and error and it takes forever, but luckily I know what to do. So this puzzle I like. The one thing I don't like about it is that Link's head kind of clips into the ceiling, which makes it feel a little illegitimate. I don't know. It's not a big deal though. So right here, this is a really nice puzzle. You need to get this small block down that hallway straight ahead in order to jump on top of that big block and then get onto a platform. And the only way, this is the way I figured out how to do it, was to get this block into the hallway, small block into the hallway, push the big block on the other side, and then hop to it. Get on top of the big block. I failed it once. And, you know, there may be an easier way to do this, a more obvious way, but this is just how I figured it out. And yeah, so you leave a little gap on this side so you can push this all the way back. And then I need to bring this block out just a little bit so that I can center it in the hallway. Then you can climb up there and get to the third floor. Got a Wolfos in the hallway. It's a good idea to kill him because, like I said, they drop Deku Nuts. And you will need them. They make things a lot easier. Drop down to the hole. And this brings us to our first red/blue switch. And these are kind of the theme of the dungeon, as you probably read from the first text box when I first stepped in. The beginning of the dungeon. So hitting these changes various things. Everywhere you see like a red or blue flame, something changes. A gate appears or disappears. Platforms appear or disappear. So really with this hack, it's best to have out a piece of paper or notepad or something like that so you can mark down where these changing elements are so you won't forget them. Because you're going to be doing a lot of backtracking. And you're going to need an amazing memory. So I saved and reset there to get back to the first room because there's something to do here. since I hit that that red-blue switch, the position of this platform has changed. It used to be on top of this step switch on the other side, but now it's gone. You probably saw that step actually for a second, that platform thing. Sometimes things are drawn even if they're not there. That's just a minor glitch in the hack. But I believe Petrie is working on that as well. So that lets me hit that, and I made a key chest drop, but now it's covered up by a platform, so we'll have to come back to that later. It's an example of what I was talking about. You have to keep a lot of things in memory. And grabbing a fairy. It's always a good idea to kind of restock when you get back to the lobby. Right here, there's these courtyard rooms are really annoying. Gways constantly spawn. There's 2 of them at all times, and they will screw you up pretty bad. You pretty much have to kill that guy to get up these vines. And coming up is some platforming. I really like this kind of stuff, and I hope Petrie does more and more of it. Really specific jumps and stuff like that, while under like a time pressure, because when that Gwei comes back, it gets risky. Here comes the other one. Yeah. And that will get us our second key. And I believe now we are going through the block push room again, because since I hit the red-blue switch, it's changed it. And now we have a completely new puzzle to solve. Petrie says that you don't need this chest in order to solve the puzzle this time, but I don't know that way of doing it. I just do it similar to the first way to get up to the second floor. So it's the same blocks and whatnot, but like the gates are different because they had red and blue flames next to them, so they've like swapped places. So this is one of my favorite puzzles for sure in this dungeon. So you pull that all the way to the edge. Your instincts tell you to drop that big block all the way down to the lower floor, but if you do it just to the edge there, you can squeeze past. And then that gate is not on the other side of this rim, so I can push this big block into place and get to the third floor in a completely different way. Alright, so this is the first Poe sister, but we're not going to fight her right now, obviously, because I need the bow to shoot her paintings. And first version of this room, you drop down, And there's a switch, opens the door right there, and you immediately go through it. You can ignore the white wolfos. And a well-thrown bomb hits this switch. And if you read the door outside of this room, and you have another chance to read the sign after you exit, but it says well controls, so it controls the water level in the courtyard well. I don't think you have to kill this wolfos, but just do it anyway. I believe it's this hand that you need to kill. In order to open this door. And yeah, right behind me right now is a sign that says well controls. So now the water in the wells have been lowered. And they're just stocking up right here. So now we can drop down into the well. And this seems to work. You can avoid the redeads and the likes by just back walking. And you can see we have a couple boxes here. And a water pillar. So you would be correct in assuming we have a puzzle to solve. Okay, time switch, and this raises the water pillar, so I can go grab these boxes, or just one of them. The other one's just a duplicate, just in case something stupid like that happens, and you drop it. So yeah, I had to go back here and hit this switch again, because of that stupid Gwei. It's probably best to kill the Gweis before you grab or hit the switch, but I don't have patience for that. So you place the box here on this gate underneath the water pillar, or above the water pillar. A quick edit there, I messed this up for like a minute or something. I think my box broke and I had to go get another one. Anyway, a well-aimed bomb will land on that broken pillar and it'll hit that switch and you can go up here with the box. And place it here. This is all really scary with these Gweis flying around. Usually if they're coming at me I just stay still so I don't get like thrown off the cliff. Once again, have to go up these vines, so... And there's the jump glitch. And here we have a multi-enemy room. This is an interesting combination. We have a Redead, a P-Hat, and a Floor Master. So first thing I do is play the Sun Song so that I don't get stunned by the Redead. Then I go for the P-Hat. Not too bad if you do things in that order. And this gives us, I believe, the map. Yeah, because we already got the compass. And hit this switch, which I believe turns on these fans. which actually like suck you towards them. So this is really cool. You time it well and you jump at them to get sucked over. The first one's really straightforward. You just jump and you get pulled over and you automatically grab the ledge. This one, you hook up to it, and then what I do is I spam jump slash right after I get up there and I land on this. This third one, this is one thing I don't really like about the hack. I think it needs to be cleaned up a little bit. This fan is way over here on the left, and it's kind of hard to tell first of all, but it's pointing to the right, and you have to jump in a very specific way to be successfully pulled into this balcony. Most of the time I get pulled right past the obelisk, and I fall all the way down and have to come back. And I've tried jumping like the exact same way at that fan, and I've still failed it multiple times in a row, so it'd be nice if that could be cleaned up so it's not such a pain in the butt. Because I don't feel like it's pure skill, I feel like there's some luck to it. Yeah, I just decided to go get a fairy here. Some bombs. I'm reading from a route, so if you see me stop awkwardly or like walk into a wall or something, that means I'm reading from my route. This dungeon is way too complex for me to memorize, at least in the like day and a half that I've played this dungeon. I just wrote up the route like 4 hours ago. So we're going back up to the 3rd floor. Trying to remember why. I guess we'll find out. Oh, that's right, because of this fight. So, make your way back up here and the Stalfos fight is triggered. Oh yeah, so the jump glitch, it sucked me up through the ceiling and I fell out of bounds because I was jump slashing. I didn't edit this out because I thought it was kind of funny. I guess one issue I have with this hack is that it's really unclear what you're supposed to do next, at least for me. Like, I'm trying to think, I don't even really know why you would be compelled to go back up to the 3rd floor to come back to this room. Like, how would you know that it's changed? Maybe I missed something obvious, but... One thing I suggested to Petrie was maybe adding some more Navi dialogue. I know that sounds terrible, but like just little hints, like he can put them anywhere, so little hints would be nice, just to give you direction. There's one spot in particular that I think is ridiculously cryptic. Alright, so we get the bow. And I'm gonna go ahead and save and reset. He fixed boss room early, by the way. You can no longer do the backflip with the hookshot to get on the edge and then fall out of bounds into the boss door. Alright, so up to the 3rd floor again. This time, yeah, I think I remember what's going on now. This is a really cool puzzle element. This is one of the few things that I remembered right away. I was like, oh yeah, that's there. I bet that'll be helpful. So this little block is still up here, and you can push it all the way down to like the 1st floor. And it will gain you access to that ledge space behind the flame wall in the courtyard. Maybe Petrie will put in the crescent moon symbol. And the green button for the sword. So yeah, that's a good puzzle. I like that. And we can go over here, and now that we have the bow, we can shoot this eye switch. And this gains us access to the 2nd red-blue switch in this dungeon. And it also, I believe, adds the hook pillar spots in that courtyard room, which allows you to get through the flame wall instantly without having to push that block again. I'm pretty sure that's what that cutscene showed right after I hit the eye switch, but that's another thing. I would like for maybe that cutscene to be a little longer and more obvious, to like show you what it's changed. So save and reset. Now that we've hit the red-blue switch again, the very first room of the dungeon, those platforms have swapped places again. So I can now access that chest on this treetop. And this portion of the dungeon, at least in my route, I'm hunting down keys. I think there's like 3 keys in a row that you can just get after you've gotten the bow and hit that switch. If you don't get all 3 of these keys, you basically go through a long process of figuring out you can't go deeper into the twisted corridor areas. So you keep hitting like a locked door. You have to go back, you find 1 key, you go back, and then you find there's another locked door behind that. So right here I just let myself get crushed because it takes you to the end of the room, which is where I'm trying to get to. And right here, there's this pillar up here. I kind of forgot where I was going for a second, but then I was like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that yet. There's an eye switch at the very end of this room, and you can actually see it from last time. When you came in here the first time, you can kind of see it up there in the corner. It's another one of those things that you need to like write down when you see it, so that you remember it for later. But this will give you a key. So we're now almost 32 minutes in, and I still have not killed a Poe sister. It's a crazy big dungeon. Actually, more than 32 minutes, of course, because I edited out that one messy spot. Alright, so back in this courtyard, those hook spots have been added. What this does is allows us to get to the other courtyard, since it's blocked off at the moment through its bottom door. So I can get through this way. And now we have a different box puzzle. The grating is now gone from the water, so that's an added challenge. Right here I edited because this guy screwed me over again. He almost knocked me down the well. It really sucks if you place the box in the correct position up there and then you get knocked down the well trying to like go. I edited it again because of the stupid quays and box and bomb throws. This pillar is pretty hard to throw too. You have to stand in a very specific place and throw from a certain closeness, or else it doesn't stick. Right there, you drop the box and you get off the pillar really quickly because that platform will crush you if you ride it up. So now I have to get up to where that box is because it's now on top of the platform. So here comes a recoil. And I took out the gway during my recoil. That was pretty stylish. And if you get just on the edge, you can hook this box. See, all these platforms, blue platforms, are here because I hit the red-blue switch. I can definitely appreciate how much effort and thought was put into this. Petrie is a pretty clever guy to be able to incorporate all these puzzles and have rooms have so many different purposes. Like a single room can have like 3 big puzzles in it, and they all kind of mesh and cooperate with each other. Must be really challenging. So I placed that box on that switch, and that opens up the barred door behind the flames. And now that I have these hook spots, I can go through here. And this is kind of a mini boss fight, I guess. I figured it out pretty quickly first time. I saw him go up, so I thought, okay, he's up there. I can't do anything with his little guys. So you just gotta find his little dangler on the ceiling, and the hookshot will take it out in one shot if you can manage to get the hit. You can rack up damage in this room really quickly, so don't waste any time. First time through, I definitely almost died. Even with a fairy. Almost game overed. So that gives you a key. Now we have 3 keys, and we can make our way deeper into the Post Sister area. But first we have to hit the red-blue switch. Alright, so now we're making our way back up to where we got the bow. Just beyond that bow room, I did save and reset there, so you didn't really see what was next, but there was a locked door in the bow room, so I couldn't go anywhere, couldn't go any farther. So now that I have 3 keys, I'll make my way back there. And you can see the boss key, it's in its normal spot, but there's this gate. So when you rotate the room, the front of the boss key chest gets blocked off by that gate. This is a whole different puzzle that's going to happen a little later. So right here, I got a little turned around with this post sister, but you just have to be a certain distance from them or else they run away. So this isn't too bad as long as you know that you can backflip down stair railings. For most casual players, I'm sure this would be really confusing. And see, hitting that switch makes all the paintings get covered up, so you have to do it that way. You have to avoid the flames. So that's post sister number 1 at about the 40-minute mark. A lot happens in like the last 15 minutes of this dungeon. Alright, so first key used in this area, and switch on the ceiling gains you access to the upper floor. Then you get a little cutscene showing you the locked door up above. And you need a key. You need this key in order to beat this post sister. We have to go back because you can only beat her from the upper floor down. You can't do it from the bottom floor up. And this part I don't really like because this painting right here, it's random whether she's in it or it's blacked out. And Petrie said, well, she moves on her own from painting to painting. That's something I didn't know. But for me, I don't like that I have to re-enter this room in order to get this puzzle to work. So that can be very confusing on your first time. You think you have it figured out, and then she's not in the right place, and you think you're doing something wrong. But see, now she's in the painting, and you can just barely shoot her through that crack, which is neat. Alright, so gate's gone. Now I can shoot her other paintings. See, that one painting was covered up when that switch is hit. So you can see I'm almost out of Deku Nuts. They do get used up really quickly with all the Stalfos and Bubbles and Post Sisters you fight. And our last key is used right here. This brings us to a very interesting room. I like this a lot, actually. It's a jump puzzle, and I was stuck in here for quite a while. But the goal is to get a box to the very top of the spinning contraption. And figuring out how to do that takes some brain power, some trial and error. So you can just barely jump up to this gate. You got two boxes here in case you drop one or throw one. And get to the left side of this slanted platform, and you're able to jump up to the top. We'll be coming back to this room in a short while, and the second version of this room is way harder. Probably the hardest technical part of the whole dungeon. There again, you can see that little drawing glitch where that platform reappeared when it's really not supposed to be there. It doesn't have any collision, it's just appearing. So here you drop into the hole, and you see a hookshot spot up there if you didn't see it the first time you were in this room, so I guess there's a little bit of a hint that you can do something with that, but you'll see later what it's for. So, on to our third pose sister. This room is really hard. I was checking to make sure I had a fairy in stock. So, you have to do the block push puzzle, the 1 minute time limit, while these flamethrowers are going around. So not only is it a challenge time-wise, because you're getting like pushed away from your block all the time, you have to keep re-pushing, but also you're taking a ton of damage. And with my method, which isn't like totally thought out or consistent, I've come really close to dying every time I do this puzzle. First time I finished this puzzle, I think I had like 1 second to spare. One hint I can give you is that pushing is a lot better than pulling, because when you're pulling and you get hit by something, you walk away from the block. When you're pushing, you instantly start pushing again. So. This is a weenie strat right here. Just keep your distance to where you can barely target her, and just wait for her to appear and shoot her with an arrow. I've got a fairy, I just don't want to go through the hassle, I guess. Alright, so that's 3 out of 4, and as you guys know, when you get 3 pose sisters, the 4th one appears in the middle of the room. And it's the same in this hack as regular Ocarina of Time. She appears in the center of the lobby, I mean. But we still need to get the boss key, which is like the most confusing and cryptic puzzle in this dungeon. I actually got to the boss door before I got the boss key. And I had to get a hint from someone to figure out how to get the key. So what we need to do first is hit the switch. The red-blue switch. I still don't completely understand what I'm doing to get this key, but I know what to do. There was a lot of cussing my first couple playthroughs with this. So yeah, you hit the red-blue switch, and then you have to remember that hook spot in the falling ceiling room. Now what's aggravating about this is that, like, the first time you fall through that room, at least this is how I remember it. You fall through that hole, and you see the hook spot, but then you go back up there, and there's no way up. Like the first time you notice it, or it's the very first time you're in this room. That hook spot is always there, the lower one, the one I'm about to hook right now. And so, like, the first time I saw it, I went up there and I was like, oh, well, you can't go up through this hole. I guess I'm just going to land on it later or something. Or it's used to hit that eye switch down the way. But no, it turns out that something, I believe it's that eye switch in the courtyard that makes the hook pillars appear, makes this pillar appear way up here. Which is, like, hard as hell to see to begin with, so figuring out to get up there and look for that later on is just so crazy. And this allows you to go back into this room, which is now different, and this is like the hardest skill portion of the dungeon. Sorry I'm having trouble talking, I am really tired. Figuring out how to get up this is crazy. But if you start at the bottom floor, jump onto the little platform there, and then just hold forward, you get up to that torch platform in the center pretty easily. There's a secondary way to get to that torch platform, but it's much harder. So yeah, this jump is kind of crazy. You jump onto that little skinny thing, and it's not just a straightforward jump. You have to jump and then hold your control stick back a little bit so that you go the correct distance. I think this room alone took me somewhere around 45 minutes to an hour to finally do. Maybe not that much, but it was hard. But I got it first try in this playthrough. No editing done. Just came in here and beasted it. And it accomplishes the same goal as before. You hit the switch again, and this twists the corridor. And basically that lets you go all the way back through to where the boss key is. And now that you have the bow, you can shoot the eye switch that's in that room. And you can get the boss key. I'm trying to understand it as I explain it to myself, but I really still don't. Basically, it's like impossible to get to the boss key room with the correct rotation unless you do what I just did. And here we are. And you just kind of like pop through the wall. Don't really have a problem with that. And you hit the eye switch, and there you go. And I'm just gonna let the hand take me. And it's finally time to go to the basement. This fight has not changed at all. You just look for the Poe sister that spins and shoot her. The noob mistake here, what everyone kind of like does by instinct, is go into first person mode, and then they don't see the spinning sister. Now here comes the spinning room puzzle. This one was really good. I definitely enjoyed this. Figured it out completely on my own. There we go, jumping into the air again. Yeah, this took quite a while to figure out. I had to, first of all, I drew out a map of the room on a piece of paper, like what every little alcove leads to. And then I like pieced it together in my head. But the final key to this puzzle is pretty, I don't know. I don't even know how it came to my mind. So you push it clockwise twice, and you're able to grab that box from the red room. Push it clockwise one more time, and you have access to this blue switch, which the box holds down. And that cuts off the fire across the room, so you can get the second box, and also hit that switch, which opens up a gate. So now you've got two of the boxes in the center of the room, and I believe you push it clockwise one more time. Yeah, and there's a blue switch across from the boss door. Put that down, and that stays put. It doesn't move when you rotate the room. That's one thing that kind of confused me here. And you put this box to the top right corner of the gate in front of the boss door, and then push it. So the box back there stays on the blue switch, but this one in this little shallow alcove, it gets moved over onto this blue switch that's in fire that you can't get to. It's one of those trial and error things. Run in here and hit that, and that turns off the boss door gate, so you can now get to the boss door. I probably pushed this room like 50 times before figuring out what to do. And that leads to the boss, which has not been worked on, says Petrie. He hasn't done anything to it. So it takes you to the Great Fairy's Fountain instead, where you get 2 heart containers and Din's Fire if you talk to the fairy. And he added a timer here, so I got about 54 minutes and 40 seconds as a final time. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description. If it's not there now, it'll be there soon. And you can check out this hack for yourself. Alright, thank you, and thanks to Petrie. See you later.